Hello, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Welcome back to Opposite Saxes. Glad to have you with us. We're gonna
Yeah,
we're talking today about one of your absolute favorite subjects.
that's not my favorite, and I hope we're not going to be boring too many people.
No, it is absolutely one of your favorite subjects.
No, it's really not one of my favorites.
Leaning. Because we've told you the story before of your nickname that my sister gave you.
But that was many years ago,
Oh, as
and
many years
people
ago.
do change.
No, you still are living up to your name, Mrs. Dirt
I'm
Devil.
not as bad as I used to be.
Mrs. Dirt Devil, you even had that on your license plate when we lived in Florida. You had Mrs. Dirt Devil, MSDRT Ms. Dirt Devil. And there's a reason for it, is because this lady, this lady knows absolutely everything you would ever want to know about cleaning.
And everyone else is yawning at this point already and saying,
No,
"Who
I'll
cares?"
bet there's a lot of people that are saying, "Oh, then I've got a couple questions for her," because, for instance, we have in our home here, we had tile in Florida. We have hardwood floors here. You have to take care of them differently, and there's different products. And you have researched all the products. You've tried a lot of different products. You've talked to other people to find out what's the best thing to clean hardwood floors.
Whoopee!
And what is your recommendation for cleaning
Oh,
hardwood floors?
well, I use a certain product called Bona.
Bona.
I think everybody else probably
Take out a
knows
pad of
all
paper,
about that.
write down Bona. And can you use Bona on a Swiffer?
Yeah.
Okay, see, folks, I'm telling you, this is an educational program. You can learn
First,
all kinds of things. And
this was not my idea. I
well,
just want you all to know this was not my idea for
but
topic.
I was taught,
It was
and
this one's
we're
idea.
working up to something. But for instance, now that
We'll
we
get to
are
it.
talking about it, granite countertops.
Yeah,
What's a good product to use on granite
a
countertops?
granite cleaner.
Is it a particular granite cleaner, a
I use
brand,
an organic one that I buy at a certain store that begins with a T. Uh,
is it a round
yes,
symbol with
yes,
a red
yeah,
dot in the
yeah,
middle?
yeah. I happen to find it there. You can
One
probably find it at your hardware stores too. Now that I think about
or
it.
at Amazon? Cheapo?
I'm sure you can. You can find everything at Amazon.
But that brings up a point. Very often, somebody will say, "Oh, you have to try this top of the line furniture polish or whatever that can be very costly." And all you do a lot of research and find out what some of the ingredients are, and sometimes you can find a a more affordable product to use.
Like Dawn and vinegar.
Yeah, yeah, to spray in a shower, right? You use
Yeah,
that?
yeah, I do. For the
Vinegar
water
and,
spot.
Dawn detergent. I mean, if it's good enough to clean a duck, it's
Well, you
it's
don't use vinegar on the duck. You just use the
no,
Dawn on the
right, yeah,
duck.
yeah, yeah.
Don't
Vinegar,
use vinegar on a duck,
yeah, vinegar
please.
in the shower, Dawn on the duck. Don't confuse it, because ducks don't like vinegar.
Yeah, I don't like vinegar. I don't like vinegar really. Can't stand the smell.
And I always know when the house has been cleaned with vinegar because
But I mean, in a way, it's got a clean kind of smell,
isn't that
or
also
not?
what it, there was one, I don't know why it just popped into my head, but didn't they say to use newspaper to clean your windows?
Yes,
An
cleaning
old
people all over have
an
been
old
using
newspaper,
newspaper.
because newspaper print has something in it that will
Yes.
help get
In
the
the
dirt off the
meantime, you end up
windows.
with black hands,
Well, that's it,
but
but clean
yeah,
windows.
yeah, yeah, that's true.
But
That's true.
well, part of this whole discussion came about because I was telling Lauren I saw an advertisement for a new housing development. And I think Lennar may be one of the home builders that's starting to do this, but in many of their new communities, they are putting in central vacuum systems into the homes. Whereas in each room, there is like an outlet, a suction outlet in each room. And rather than you having to drag around a vacuum cleaner from room to room, you simply take the hose with the suction thing on the end of it, and you walk in, you flip up the little door, you plug it into the wall, and a central vacuum system in the house sucks the dirt from room to room to room to room into one canister that's usually located, would assume, in the garage. And
Or basement.
yeah, or a basement. And once a month you go down there and you open it up and you take the bag that's got all the dirt from all over the house. And I mean, it's a very practical idea. I have no idea, how much of an upgrade that probably is, but I think it started with some small high-end hotels that were being built are starting to go in that route too.
Well, I
Because
suppose for them it would make sense because, yeah, you're not lugging a vacuum cleaner. First of all,
from floor to
I
floor
don't
and
think they
room to room,
vacuum the carpets
not to
all
your
the time, every
standards.
time anyway, but I just don't see anybody lugging a vacuum. I see the carts going down the hallways with the maids and them cleaning, but I see no vacuum.
But I mean, it's
But
certainly a practical idea for
it is,
somebody that has a two-story house.
yes.
Because rather than having to go up and down the stairs with a vacuum cleaner of any type, whether it's a broom type
Well, if it's a
vacuum,
stick, if it's a lightweight little something, electric broom,
but
that's
this way
not
you
so
simply
bad.
take this lightweight hose with the suction attachments on the end, and you take it up and you go into that room, and if you are just doing the floors, fine. If you have to do a carpet, then you add that to it.
Well, I didn't know that much about them because we've never had one in our houses. Our
Yeah.
houses are never
Because I
that
have
huge.
Mrs. Dirt Devil.
Thanks. But I did look it up because I just wasn't sure about the whole concept. And first of all, they don't recommend them for anything probably under 3,000 square feet.
Who doesn't recommend
The powers that be, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
If you look up,
In other words, it's
if you
not
look up
worth
the
the
pros and
investment for a
cons.
small house.
Well, you can get, for
Yeah.
a small house, you can get a vacuum, a central vac. They say for as little as $500. I can't
Oh,
quite
really?
believe that.
Hmm.
But it can go all the way up to $2,000. And I'm assuming maybe even more because then you must have to run pipes or something.
Oh, well, you have to have it
through it.
installed. I mean, if this is in an old house that you
They're
want to
talking,
upgrade,
I
it
was
could be
looking at upgrades as
costly.
an upgrade,
Because it's got to
yes,
go through the walls. You've got to
right,
run the
right,
the
right,
system through the
right.
walls.
But they did say that one of the downsides of a central vac is the carrying back and forth of the hose. They say the hose is very cumbersome too. And so to
Well,
take that from room to room, you
yeah.
gotta bend down and you gotta plug that in, or secure it,
Right, yeah.
you know. That's not easy either.
But that's why I'm saying that in some of the new housing developments, they are
Mhm.
offering it as an
Well,
upgrade.
as a perk.
And also it makes a heck of a lot more sense to have this system installed in a new build than it does to add it to an
Right, well,
existing home.
that I get. I just, I don't know, we've never had new houses. We've always had older homes.
You're right, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we would never have used it.
Now, the alternative is Roomba.
Yeah, our daughter-in-law has had a couple. Also not cheap. Probably started a decent one at $300, if not a little more.
Yeah,
But
but
it's
it runs itself.
well, I didn't know she had bought one. So I'm sitting in the kitchen at the breakfast table with our grandson.
And all of a sudden,
And all of a sudden, I hear this noise.
it's
And
it's
I'm not sure
a
what I'm
soft
hearing.
a soft
Soft whirring.
whir. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm just, yeah, and I thought, well, maybe it's somebody outside, I didn't. Well, all of a sudden it's getting closer and closer. And then you see this thing coming around the corner. Yeah. And it's eerie. I mean, if you're not used to it, goes all around. The dogs went nuts. They're looking at it like, can we play? Is this another toy? And it's going, and now you got to be careful where you're walking, as you get up from any place, or because you don't want to get in its way. It's doing its thing. She loves it. She loves it.
Well, because it's cleaning
I get
itself.
that. Yeah.
I've always been concerned, like, for instance, in your breakfast room, where you've got a breakfast table and you've got maybe 6 chairs, each chair's got 4 legs on it. How can the Roomba possibly clean that room when it keeps bumping into
Then it
legs
goes
of
around,
the
right?
chairs?
It's not a total clean.
Yeah.
Okay, but
So
it
now
gets
what
the
you've got to do is you got to prepare the room by pulling all of the chairs out of the room in order for the Roomba to go in and go
Well,
around.
in my younger days, what I used to do is take the chairs and flip them over and put them on top of the table.
Yeah. And so if
But as
you're
you
going to
get
go
older,
through
you don't
all
want
of
to be
that
lifting it.
process, isn't it just as easy to do that and then take your vacuum cleaner and go underneath the table and then put the chairs back down?
If I was going to get one, I'd want to invest and get a decent one. So you're looking at anywhere between $350 and $450.
And they go up because they even have ones that when they're finished doing their thing, or they run on a battery. When the battery gets low, it knows how to go back to the charging station and back up when it's finished, and it just recharges like overnight.
Who said so?
That's one of the
Really?
models that they have.
That.
It's self-charging.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm impressed.
And I mean, I can understand that a Roomba might be something really good for somebody that has oversized rooms, like a large family room, this open concept home.
Yeah, or they don't have the flexibility or the strength to push a vacuum back and forth, nor do they want to. So, and this can be done when you're not at home.
Our daughter doesn't have one, does she?
She was talking about it, so I wouldn't be surprised if she bought one.
I mean,
but I'm not sure.
She's got a fair, a nice sized condo, not an oversized condo. It's and I can understand because she also does not have a lot of artwork or sculptures or things like that on the floor.
Right.
The floor is pretty much open, and the Roombas, depending on the model that you get, can adjust itself between hardwood floors and tile and rugs and carpet.
Right.
And so, you leave in the house in the morning and you turn the thing on, or I think some of the models you can program them.
Oh,
so they just do their
It's a great thing for somebody that doesn't like cleaning, and B, is never home or have the time. So yeah, does it get every last little thing like maybe a hand vac would? Probably not, but I don't know.
Well, it obviously can't get into crevices as easily, because it's really more or less for open surfaces.
Well, it'll go along the baseboards.
Well, yeah,
but
until it hits a chair or a table or something.
We have those sweepers we had in Chicago, the street sweepers. And I'm sure they had them in most major cities, the street sweep, and they just go along the curb outside
and clean up all the leaves and the debris.
Yeah, but sometimes you can't get it all.
Those big things, like, you remember the Zamboni?
Oh, the Zamboni
that
still have it
on in ice rinks,
right?
And all that basically goes around like a Roomba,
Yeah,
and everything, and it cleans and resurfaces the area. And you would think that there was probably somebody sitting at one of those events and watching one of those big street sweepers or a Zamboni or something that says, somebody should develop one of those into a house size unit that would just go around and clean up.
I just think it's a little eerie.
I
just don't like something working by itself and coming into my room and.
Yeah, well, I always wonder, you go away for the day and you come home.
And
you come home and there's the Roomba that's in a corner, stuck in a corner, and it's going boom,
Oh,
boom,
yeah, they
boom,
do,
boom.
every
Yeah.
once in a while they do, but then they get out of it.
Kind of
and they-
malfunctions, and
But that's find their way.
yeah,
It did that,
now
yes.
not only you gotta fix the Roomba, but now you gotta
Yeah.
hire somebody to come and paint your baseboards because the Roomba banging up against it.
I thought maybe you were thinking of getting one for me.
If you're dropping it, I'm not sure. I think
I,
we have too many things on the floor.
well, I'll go around them.
Well, yeah, but if it goes around them, then how does it clean under them?
Oh, it'll go under the kitchen table,
I know the Roomba will go
but
like
it will,
underneath a bed,
yeah,
and
yeah, it'll go under things, but it won't be totally clean, like, cause the chairs are not, the chairs are down.
I doubt that I could get a Roomba because I just don't think a
I
Roomba,
think it would bother you.
I don't think it could compete against Mrs. Dirt Devil. Because you
Well,
would come back after the Roomba has cleaned up the whole room and saying, you missed a spot. You missed a spot over here.
well, you have to know that it's not gonna be the same. I just don't think you feel like spending $500 or $400 or $350.
Not when I got Mrs. Dirt
Yeah,
Devil, you know, because you know all the ins and outs.
yeah, but Mrs. Dirt Devil does have batteries too at this point.
You did your batteries need replacing.
There are days. Anyway,
Go, go ahead.
very strange topic for this week.
Yeah, if you have an automatic something or
different.
other that you use to clean your house, or a favorite product that you use to clean, drop us a note. We'll add it to a show. You know, 'cause
Or I'll add it to my cleaning
that's what we're
routine.
here for. Yeah, we're here for you and your Roomba.
Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Go on, make it a good one.
Have a great week.
Bye.